Hello,
All right.
hello. It's Tuesday.
Hey guys.
Hey, we are here. I'm Lindsay with Keystone Mortgage, Miss Kayla McDonald with Remax Alliance, and she is in the RJ Kielty's Corner today, and I'm excited because we have some new things happening in your world that we're excited to hear about.
Yeah. First and foremost, I just want to thank both of you guys from having me on the show. This is my second time.
Yeah.
My first time I went was actually my first ever podcast, so I appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome. And then you started your own podcast like right after that, right?
Yep. You guys were inspiration, so thank you.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah, but we have a couple new things since probably the last time I've been on the podcast. So we started the electric side here beginning of the year. We had our big reveal, so we're super excited about it.
Yeah, I saw like all the little like tidbits of like something big's coming. So I'm like, here we go. We just did the whole year of 50 years. What is it now?
Yeah, we did all the golden stuff. Yeah, we did the little trickles out and created a little hype, and we're excited. It really kind of, I guess, full circle gets our company where we need to go. You know, we do plumbing, we do air conditioning now. You know, we do electric. So
it just makes sense, honestly.
Yeah, you only have to have one person you to call. So it worked out really well for us, or it is working out well for us.
Yeah.
What led you to do that? Just the one-stop shop for all of those things, or did something happen that like, oh, okay, that's definitely something that we should do and move forward with?
Yeah, it's really twofold. I'll say number one, it's this echo's killing me.
I know.
but it's really two things. So number one, it's our customers. So they only have one phone number to call.
Yeah.
That means a lot, you know, so whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, or electric. And number two, it's honestly the level of service that we give our customers. Sometimes when we were referring electrician, they weren't giving the same level of service. So for us to have that consistency, that continuity with the customers, it just meant a lot for us, and it's a better customer experience.
For sure.
House, and I'm sure that you probably had how many people a week at a day ask you, hey, do you guys do electrical too?
Yeah, so we refer probably, I would say 10 calls or so a day, people calling up just kind of assuming we do electrical. We install tankless water heaters. There's electrical with that, you know, anything we do, water softeners, we might have to move outlets. So there's a lot of electrical that we do that we're referring out. And, you know, we have to get on their time frame, you know, when they're able to show up. This way we could do all that stuff internally for the customer. And honestly, we show up all at once. It's on their one invoice, and we take care of it.
And you can
again
get it done a lot sooner.
Correct. Yeah, and the customers love it.
I think it's great. Cool.
What was that process like, adding electrical? When was that decision made, and did you have to get any additional licensing? Were you hiring somebody that was already like in-house to do that? How did that work out?
Yeah, so this kind of came about actually. El Rudisell, she's a attorney, really, really good at what she does. Anyways, her parents have electrical contracting company. They've been in business for over 20 years, done an amazing job. And they're kind of at the point now where they're kind of slowing down. They don't want to, you know, have all the stressors of a business. So we partnered together, we merged together. They're under the RJ Kielty umbrella. And so that started as a whim. I've been talking about it kind of for years, but that kind of jump started it. And then
another strong, good family.
Yeah, and then the nightmare happens because there's so much stuff with licensing and you know moving everything over social media and attorneys involved, and corporate structuring and rebranding and it goes on and on and on and truck wraps. It's just, you know, it's expensive and it's never ending. But in the end, it turned out really well for us. So we're lucky. We have really, really good people that work for us. We're actually looking to hire at least 2 to 3 more electricians to add to our team to help with our current contracts. So it's really growing fast, and we're going to make sure we do it the right way.
like everything else that you guys do the right way.
Yep.
So I think you talked about this last time we were on the show, but it was so long ago. You guys are doing a lot of more new construction now, right?
Yeah, we actually technically we've always done a ton of new construction. So we started a new construction over 52 years ago. And at one point it was almost 95% of our business. So we really put a lot more focus in service because we do the new construction job. That's usually for most new construction companies. That's the end of life for a customer. That's it. They don't.
Right.
What we do is we want to be able to take care of that customer and then really that home, for its lifetime. So there's going to be remodelings done. They're going to need new water heaters. They're going to need to maintain their air conditioner. Maybe they have an EV car on the electric side that they want to add. So I really look at the lifetime value. We don't make a whole lot of money on the new construction side. Margins are extremely, extremely tight, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. But the lifetime value of a customer and being able to take care of them, getting on our membership program and stuff, it makes a lot of sense for a customer and it makes a lot of sense for us.
Yeah, when people now they see RJ Kielty on their HVAC, now they're electrical panels, and hopefully they're not seeing anything, on the plumbing, but they see you on both things. Who are they going to call if they need something with their HVAC? They need a tune-up, or just something's going wrong with one of the coils or whatnot. So I think that speaks volumes when you see, wow, one company did two without them knowing about the plumbing, two with the major systems of their home. They're definitely going to call you for going on Facebook or,
Yeah. And frankly, we know about their system. We did it. So we have the as-built. We know where we ran the duct work. We know where we ran the plumbing. We know the material that we use. So we know about their system. So, and we have very, very experienced people because a lot of times some people maybe started in new construction, kind of came up as apprentice and then a lead. And then, maybe they moved over to our modeling department and then finally service or vice versa. So our guys, there's a lot of service companies, and not talking back because we have a lot of incredible service companies and they have gone up through the trades, but they may not know what's behind the wall or why somebody ran it a specific way or why something's vented this way or really how to do the load calculations like we have to do in new construction to fix problems, not just kind of just throwing stuff at a wall and see if it fixes it. So we're lucky in that sense because we have a lot of really good back end people that can really solve problems, from our managers to our estimators, comfort advisors, whatever. We have very, very experienced group of people that back us.
Yeah, that's really important because a lot of these people probably were in the business 15, 20 years ago when they did everything completely different, when that was the right way to do things at the time. But then somebody came along and found a better way. Like plumbing, for instance, didn't they used to put all the plumbing like in the floors, and now do they run them through the ceiling, or it depends on the house?
Yeah, it really depends on the house and the type of piping. For the most part, everything's ran through the floor still, which is good. But the type of piping, it was, galvanized piping, which obviously, that corrodes and everything else. Then those copper piping and depending on what type of copper, that could corrode and create pinhole leaks, whether it's the manifolds or anything underneath your slab, which then becomes a nightmare. So knowing how to work with the different materials takes a lot of experience and a lot of, training on how to do it and how to do it correctly. That's going to last for the customer. So stuff is just forever changing, the type of flex duct or duct board, or, it could be metal pipe. There's everything is changing so quickly. It takes somebody that's not just one-sided on how they do it now. You have to really go back to, it could be a house from the 20s. You got to be able to work with that.
Yeah, those are crazy. You don't come across them very often, but in certain areas like especially Brooksville, I get some really, really older homes and you can't really find the specs on them. So
how are those inspections?
Well, It depends. So. I mean, they're fun, that's for sure. I always learn something new. But it's always kind of scary because you don't know what you're going to see during an inspection. I don't know what type of wiring or piping or anything is in the house, and just kind of one of those luck of the draws and who's owned the house,
Correct. And are they
how
going
did
to
they
take care of it?
Yeah.
And that's where people mess up, I think, a lot, is taking care of their house, because a lot of people will spend the money to put all this stuff in, but on the HVAC, it looks pretty, but then on the HVAC side, you open it up and you see it and you're like, how does this person have a multi-million-dollar house and it looks like the last 10 years they have never cleaned their air conditioner
ever? They never changed the filter.
They never change the filters. They don't put a water softener in. It just eats up all their their pump, anything hooked up to piping, it just eats it up. A water heater, your washer and dryer, everything's high efficiency nowadays in small orifices, and it just, everything gets scaled up and just tears everything up. And people, a lot of times, people are, all they care about is that flashy stuff. But you could really see the people that are like, hey, this stuff was expensive, let's make sure I maintain it.
Yeah, so that way we don't have to replace it in
Correct.
2 years when
we should come up with a book of
fixtures and stuff.
Yep.
All the things to keep up with maintenance wise, because that's the only thing that I can think of is that just the unknown. Like, yeah, they want to go and spend the extra money for the air conditioning because it's, an important part of the home that they want. But like, if you're not taught or raised that way, or, have experienced those things, you don't really know, unless somebody along the way has told you and has had an experience of some sort. We should come up with a book, like here's a new home buyer book, like a baby book.
They honestly should. We give a warranty packet and we go over some of our stuff that they need to do. But honestly, a lot of that stuff gets thrown away, whether it's the cleaning person, they just go in there and just throw everything away, or people don't read it.
That's the thing. That's what I was going to say. People are like, oh, this is a really great book, and then it just gets tossed away.
And then they don't find the time to do it.
You should make a couple QR code videos, 1 minute or less or something, whatever's going to keep people's attention.
Got to make it easier for them. Automatic calendar events to change out their filters, or different things that they could do to maintain their unit, their air conditioners. And I see this, and it makes no sense, because the amount of money that you're going to be, we charge to even just maintain and clean an air conditioner, you're going to save exponentially more and what it's going to cost to even run the unit, because these units get bogged down, they run harder, and then on top of that, you're going to have the other problems where stuff's going to break, right?
Right.
So just full cycle, you have to maintain. It's a big mechanical piece of equipment. Your air conditioner, your water heater, if you have a tankless water heater, you have to maintain those things. It's not just stuff the manufacturers write down. You have to maintain it. And frankly, what a lot of the manufacturers doing now is you have to maintain it, otherwise they're not going to honor the warranty. So
right, yeah, and unfortunately, some people figure it out the hard way.
Yeah. Why would you want to give somebody something free or replace it when they're not
neglecting it?
Yeah,
yeah.
Just like a car, you don't do your oil changes and your engine blows up. The car dealership is going to be like, listen, you should have got your $30 oil change.
Correct. Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's the same thing with tanklesses too. You see a lot, they require a water softener because of how bad and corrosive our water is, and everything gets scaled up, and the unit's going to have to work harder. Stuff starts to fail prematurely. So
see, I didn't know that. Like,
I didn't know that
yeah, they do. There's some electric. We sell a true tankless that doesn't require it because of the way that it heats the water. It actually will break down any kind of scaling and stuff like that. But any kind of Renai, a Navian, a gas tankless, or a Stiebel Altron electric, they require you to have that because it's so important. And on top of that, it's only going to make your unit more efficient. It's going to heat better, because it's not having to heat through, an element that has that much scale on it,
Right.
So,
and then we have to take care of that too.
Yep. People don't realize, just spend a little money on you're going to be giving the plumber, the HVAC company, the electrician less money long term if you maintain your stuff
Right.
by a mile. So maybe it's bad business, but I don't care. I care about my customers, and maintaining their stuff is the most important thing that they could do.
Well, it saves you money in the long run because, like you were saying, your systems are running harder. If you're talking about the tankless or even the HVAC, if you don't maintain it, it's working harder. So that's causing what? Your electric bill to go up.
It is.
Right. And then what if something happens with your AC unit? And I think one of the common things that people think about is your AC, like what's that, drip pan overflows. And then
correct.
If it's
your
in your
condensate
attic
line, your drip pan comes up, your condensate line's clogged, and if you don't have an effective shutoff valve, it's gonna leak through your
overflow.
attic. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of handlers are in attics, and that causes water damage to your ceiling. And depending on how bad the leak is, like it just trickles down, and it's a very expensive thing to fix. If you could just catch it beforehand and maintain it, it's very little money out of pocket just to maintain it every. I don't know what the service would be like every couple months.
So for that, I mean, we have a membership that we can go out every quarter, and we could, even help change your filters and do all your stuff, clean your unit and stuff like that. For some people, that's too much. They don't want people in their house every 3 months. I get it. But what you need to do is there's a little T there, and pull that little cap up and put vinegar. Some people, I mean, even my service manager, he'll even say bleach, or we actually use a commercial solution that our guys use. But I recommend vinegar. Very, very easy. Get a little funnel, pour it down there. It's going to kill any algae or whatever that's growing in there, but you got to do it. I mean, every month is good just to do it with your filters, but at least every quarter, go do that. And that's going to totally eliminate any problems that you have in that. And can just keep it, frankly, maintained. And then you're not going to have to call an air conditioning company and say, hey, I have either a leak in the ceiling, or it's going to cut your unit off so that it doesn't cause a leak in your ceiling. So either way, you don't have air conditioning or you have property damage.
And it's always going to be on a Friday night at 10 p.m.
Correct.
When you go to bed and you're like, it's hot, or there's something dripping through the ceiling. It's never going to be on like a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. My guys work so hard. I mean, we get so many calls in the afternoons because a lot of times people get out of work, right? And their house is hot. And they may not get home till 6 or whatever, and they're calling us, or it tends to happen on a weekend. So we have an amazing set of guys that really take time away from their families to help other people's families, because especially in Florida, air conditioning is kind of a necessity. So.
Yeah. Especially if you have, I mean, not just for, your normal healthy people, but some people might have elderly or small children. And it's not good if your house is 90 degrees. Plus, if we're talking about July or August, I'd be staying in a hotel or at a friend's house. I'd be like, see ya.
Yeah, you just can't sleep. And like you said, somebody has a newborn. You can't have them staying in a house that's 90 plus degrees. And an elderly, person like a grandma or whatever, you can't have them, be in a house that's it's just, their bodies can't handle that. So it's so important. It's one of those jobs you just have to know that it's going to be 24/7, and you're going to be running, especially in the summertime, up to 80 hours. It just is what it is. I mean, you get paid for it, but it's a very, very tough job. And I think the last maybe 5 years, people are starting to give a little bit more respect to the trades, but it needs to happen even more in my book.
Yeah.
It is a tough job.
Oh yeah. When you're dealing with people in their homes, it's tough. And especially
they're cranky too, I get it.
In an emergency or a crisis, their stress levels are higher, and maybe acting a little bit out of character. Maybe some might be their true character, but but yeah, it's tough whenever you're working with people in situations like that with their homes.
I will say that, yes, your staff is incredible, and they're always kind and polite and understand when personalities are heightened because of one reason or another. And that's why, like, when you guys were talking about doing essentially commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and then having the opportunity to go back to that same company as a regular, customer, I think that speaks volumes of who you are as a company. You're not just, oh, okay, we're going to go do commercial. We don't have to deal with the public, so to speak, but you really do have a staff that goes over and above. And that's the name that you guys have made for yourself over the years. And I think it's fantastic.
It's crazy. It is kind of rare because a lot of new construction companies, they don't want to deal with customers. They're like, all right, I'm done. See you later. And it's, after 1 year, they won't even return your phone call. Hey, we don't have warranty. We're done. We don't even want to talk to you again. You know what I mean?
I personally couldn't. I mean, I don't know all of them, but I couldn't think of one company that does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure there are, but like that's pretty amazing to me.
Typically two different companies that want to do that, and for me, I just look at it differently. I think that, like, again, I look at the lifetime value of the customer and taking care of them. We do jobs that we lose money on, and it is what it is. And we just move on from it because, in the end, it'll all make up for itself.
That speaks highly of who you are personally, as well as a company, for sure.
So. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to coming into electric in the beginning of the year, I'm sure, as you know, people are still dealing with repairing their homes with the hurricanes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that has probably brought some challenges and opportunities for learning with the counties and homeowners, and how has that been? And I'm sure you've experienced that with HVAC and electrical as well, as plumbing as well.
Yeah. So honestly, it's kind of been a nightmare. I feel bad for the county. They've got inundated with permits, and you want to talk about people that are kind of upset. There's people in Gulf Harbors that still haven't got their permit. Mm-hmm. And they applied, I don't know how many months ago, and they're expected to kind of just do nothing. A good friend of mine in St. Pete, he just got a stop work order on his house. Same type thing. It has a baby coming. So it's I don't know the solution for that. It's kind of crazy to me, honestly. I get what they're trying to do. They're making sure that people are putting their houses together right. Obviously we saw once the electric started being turned on in some of these coastal communities, there was fires, all that stuff. I'm sure you've in your neighborhood, and you've dealt, and you've seen a lot of stuff, and you've dealt with the county on a lot of these things too. I get the point that what they're doing, but they have to be somewhat, I guess, lenient or a lot quicker on the permitting process to get these people up and running. It's a nightmare, frankly.
It is. And I think it's for everybody that's involved, because obviously the county workers don't make the rules, and they're getting the brunt of a lot of people's aggression as a resident, or as, because there's a lot of like restaurants and commercial businesses, I think, that are still working on fixing their places to get back to work. So, from the contractors to the homeowners, everybody who's involved in it they're feeling it, and it's, it's a lot. And I agree. There's got to be a better solution to just be more efficient, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely efficiency. And I get that it's kind of FEMA's rules, because FEMA's the one that's funding it all. So these counties and the state, everybody's got to follow that. So I get it, but I mean, there's just got to be a better way to speed it up. I mean, there's got to be a better way of speeding it up. This is an emergency situation. It's a crisis. There's no reason that somebody should be out of their home longer than they have to be.
I feel like they're doing the extra because of it, making sure that the work's being done a certain way. And although I do understand that, you're right, there has to be a better way. But I feel like they're also trying to protect a little bit, but that extra step perhaps is making it even longer to be able to get approved. I don't know that for sure, but it's the only thing that really makes sense.
And I think it's different for every county, and even like in like the cities too. So they all are governed
Individual.
separately. So I hear horror stories from really everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. Somebody's experiencing something that is just really, really challenging, for lack of better terms.
Right.
So,
It is, yeah, because some of them it's like an online thing. Some of it you got to go in there in person. They're all different systems. They all do it different ways. They all have to pass through different people to get it approved. Some people want, drawings. Some people don't. I mean, it is. I wish they could really streamline that. They're putting so much added pressure and on these homeowners, and they're going in there. And like I said, a friend of mine in St. Pete, he had to wait days literally because he would get there at say like 8 o'clock or something, wait in line, and he'd wait till around noon, and they'd say, okay, we met the amount of people that we're going to today, come back tomorrow. And you do that a couple times and you're just like, is this worth it? Should I just try to give up and get my house done and deal with the consequences? It's tough.
So I will say I have spoken with several people in my neighborhood in Hudson, and a lot of these people have put their house back together before they got anything in the mail, which was like, I think for Pasco County, it was like mid-December, at least for my neighborhood. And they said that they've had good things to say about Pasco County permitting. They said that, as lengthy and tedious as it is, they were like 95% done, and they're not making them rip anything out, and they're being accommodating with the permits and inspections. So
that's good.
That is a good thing. And it's not all doom and gloom. So I actually spoke with 2 different homeowners who are going to be selling their house. And they said that they didn't have any issues, getting their permit, getting the inspection, and getting it, closed out. So
that's awesome.
I mean, that's good news.
That's really good.
Yeah. So that's good news.
I was worried about that, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me say this about Pasco County and all of them. There's people work so hard there. I mean, they're working all these extra hours to try to help people too. It's not on them. You know what I mean? So again, like we talked about,
job to do too. Yeah.
It's not on them. But I know those people down there, they want to work hard and they want to get you your permit. There's just a process that has to go to that technically sometimes will take a little bit longer. And I'm sure Pasco County, other counties are getting directives from other places of how they have to do stuff. So the people in the county building have done a really good job here the last couple of years doing speeding stuff up. This is just a huge kind of kink in the line that came through with this amount.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. And then, because we got hit with the 2 storms, right? So we had people all along the coast, and then we had a week later, the rivers.
Yeah.
Like,
that was crazy.
Just a lot. So many people. I mean, I don't even remember the stats of how many people were affected, but we're talking tens of thousands more. I don't know.
I would say it had to be more than that.
At least
yeah.
We're in like triple digits, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I mean, we just had so much. I mean, it went all the way up the coast and just from anywhere from really like even Naples. I know they were getting flooding and stuff just running up the coast and all the way up into the Panhandle. Just
and that's just in Florida.
Yeah, that's just in Florida. Yeah, then of course North Carolina, all those other places. I was in North Carolina and kind of seeing the devastation is still it's kind of eerie, honestly.
Yeah.
Some of these towns are that are on the river, just all shut down. I mean, there's just like nothing open, no street light. I mean, just it's definitely eerie.
Sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Sad. Good people too, everybody working together to try to get rebuilt, but it just takes time.
It does. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But in the same breath, if it were to happen again, I'm hoping that they're putting processes in place now that can be followed later on to avoid the type of problems that they had the first time around, so to speak, because that was pretty rough.
Well, I think that the state's doing a really good job. There's the Federal Department of emergency management, they came out with that new mitigation program
Mhm.
or grant program, and I applied for it. And based on their application, they'll help you either build a second story, raise your house, or even just get your hurricane windows and doors and just help you for prevention.
Awesome.
So it
That's really
seems
cool. I've only heard little tidbits of that, but yeah, I knew that somebody said, yeah, they're going to start helping people raise their houses. I go, wow,
you just have to be able to pay for up to 25% of whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
doing. So, I mean, they just opened it up, I think last week, and I applied for it right away. And they've already been communicating, and they say that your approval is anywhere between 1 and 4 months. So, which is
that's good.
Better than the FEMA grant to raise your house of like 3 to 5 years, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and who knows? Yeah, there's the FEMA nightmare. I've seen that anywhere that's been hit. I know down in the Keys, they told one municipality that, oh yeah, we're going to rebuild your city hall and all that stuff. And this is back Irma or something, and they're still just they still have their city halls and trailers and stuff like that. It's
my gosh,
job trailers. It's crazy.
Well, it all depends on the funding, though,
It is.
because how I was explained is you get a certain amount of funding, and then they take it to the people that need it the most to get as many done as possible. And there's only so much funding, so this new program is I think it's pretty cool. We'll see how it goes. And I think it's interesting to have options.
You're smart jumping on it quick too, because
a
lot of times these funding. That's good.
I think I'm 350.
You have to keep us updated on what that process looks like so we can help educate.
I will. I definitely will. I'm like, it's like whenever it comes out, I'm like on my computer at like 12:01 at midnight, like here, documentation and everything. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to help a lot of people. And, whether it's, I didn't know, I've learned so much in the last 2 years of you can rip off your roof and build a second story up. And it's just like mind blowing to me, but it's also the same thing as actually picking up your house and moving it up in the air. So it's all crazy.
I still don't even understand that, how I realize they have so much bracing underneath it, but it's, God, I would just think that foundation would crumble. Yeah. Doing it for so long, how much stuff you have to do nowadays with everything, how something like that can, hold up and kind of not crumble under the house. But I mean, they do it every day. So they do it.
See it. Like we drive by in this house and it looks so funny because
it looks crazy.
Yeah. They're like up on jacks and it almost looks like they're, on a bunch of pallets.
Yeah, that's what they do. It's like pallets or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm like,
they're all under there sideways. It's like, it's crazy looking.
And what is it, like a couple inches a day or something crazy like that? Yeah, I would think
it goes up pretty quick because like Mike would drive by one. He actually sent me a picture of it, and he would like come back from the boat and they would already be like halfway up in the air.
Oh shoot.
And he's like,
that's cool.
Okay. And then now they have like all the decking and stuff being done, and it's really interesting to see it, but it's just so weird to like see a house up in the air. Like there's no stairs going to it, and it's just
hanging off the bottom.
It's really wild to see.
Yeah, like I was figuring out, like you have to have some place in your house where you're gonna be able to put stairs up, unless you just do it on the exterior of the house. You have to. I was, racking that, through my head, like, hey, where are people gonna put some of their stairs? It's gotta, but. Usually they have areas somewhere. They figure it out,
They figure it out. They figure it out. I mean, I think that especially if you're an engineer and you're just have a wild imagination with construction, like anything is possible.
It's true.
So, I mean, I've seen people put elevators and move their whole front door to the side of the house and move an elevator like in the inside. It's crazy. Yep. Very crazy. But yeah, you probably see that more than we do.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of stuff running down the pike now with everybody moving their houses up and so there's still people that haven't even started the remodel because, like I said, some people are waiting on insurance companies too. They're slow to pay out. So
we're still waiting on money.
Yeah, exactly. So how I don't understand how it could take that long, but once they come out and do the appraisal or whatever, or what's wrong with it, I would think that they would get it rolling quick, but I guess they don't. So
no, when the mortgage company is involved, it's
that's true too.
it takes a lot of time to get checks out and inspections, and mail is very slow. They don't overnight anything, I tell you that.
I believe it.
You just hope that your check didn't get lost in the mail.
So I got a question for you guys. How are you guys seeing the real estate market here the first I guess really January, kind of in the halfway here through February? Has it started to pick back up a little bit, or was still just real tough?
So I think that we've both seen different things. I'll let Kayla explain her side first.
So the answer to both of your questions is yes. Yes, and yes. So I've seen things pick up as far as I have new buyers, and I also have a lot more showings on all of my listings collectively. And we're talking from a list price as low as like 200,000 to 550, 600,000. So completely different properties. So yes, the market is getting better. It's picking up, and it's good. I think it's pretty balanced, honestly, for buyers and sellers right now. I feel like sellers right now who've been listed for a while, maybe listed, the last quarter last year, it was just, we had a lot of things stacked against us, especially here in Florida with the storms and with it being an election year and all of that. So it just kind of was an extra slow season as a seller, but it's getting better. And as a buyer, buyers do have buying power. They don't have to go in and compete with a whole bunch of people right now. They're getting help with closing costs and everything. So it's really a good time, I think, for both sides of a transaction to buy and sell.
No, I agree. I think the ones that were waiting are, I want to say tired of waiting, but no longer waiting, and they're interested in to start to shop. Holiday time, we'll call it November, December, even into January, are typically slow months anyway, but they were very, very slow this past year, for multiple reasons, just like Kayla said. And I think a lot of the people that were on that fence of figuring out what they were going to do, they wanted to see what happened with the election. They wanted to get past the holiday. They wanted to see what was going to happen. Rates really haven't gone down a whole heck of a lot, so to speak. I do expect them to, we'll call it in the near future. But in turn, I think when the rates go down, the housing prices aren't going to come down. So the point of waiting when we simply could refinance at that point in time just for a lower interest rate would be the best idea financially, is to move forward now rather than wait. I think it'd be more competitive later on when the rates do come down a little bit, which isn't necessarily a good thing for a buyer. But yeah, overall, things really have picked up, and we, believe it or not, I mean, we still have a lot of equity in our market. So people are trying to get their equity out of their homes in one way or another, whether it be doing a refinance or an equity line, or they're like, okay, I'm going to sell and I'm going to use the equity of the property to purchase the next one. So I think
even last being a very slow year, and you can look at the stats. I mean, if you can pinpoint it down to specific cities, neighborhoods, some neighborhoods and cities were down, but Florida overall was up. I think it was 1.2%. So our values are still there.
They are
seeing a huge decrease. Yes, we have a lot longer time on market, but we're not seeing anything that, everybody's values are dropping. We're just not going up as fast as we were, we seen in a couple years past. But the rates are not terrible. I don't think they're terrible. It's just everything else is very expensive right now. So that's all of that combined into one makes it terrible.
Yeah.
So
how about these big corporations that went in and bought a lot of these houses? Are they still kind of in the market, or are they slowed down some? Or
I think investors are going, rents high. They're buying multi-unit properties. We have different programs for investors. They go in and they can, if they have a decent down payment, they technically can qualify. based on what they're going to rent the property for and very low documentation. So if they have the cash flow to put into it initially and get it going as far as renters are concerned, I think that's their game plan, and I'm seeing a lot of it.
Yeah. From like local people or for like still like kind of big?
Mine are local, but I only, I don't necessarily, we'll call it market to people outside of our area. I like my own backyard, so to speak.
Yeah.
But and Kayla might have a different version because I think some of her buyers come from outside because she's going to go in there and give them tours with her phone and things like that. But on the lending side, I kind of keep things pretty local. So yeah, most of them are local on my side. I'm not saying that's across the board.
Yeah, my virtual tours have gone down significantly because people are traveling more. So that still happens, just not as much as like 2021.
Is there a certain time of year that happens more? Like, for example, if somebody wants to come and buy a home to be a snowbird, so to speak, is there a certain time that you get more, connections from people out of state, or no?
That I've noticed, most people will want to, especially now that they're traveling more and, we don't have all like the COVID restrictions and stuff. Most people are able to get on a plane and, come for a weekend or something. Like they'll use spring break or Christmas vacation time.
Physically come and look at the properties.
In-house shop and do all of that stuff. So I haven't seen anything that I've noticed for me in my business personally that there's more common for virtual tours now.
Yeah, 2021 was like the wild, wild west. When I sold my house, I think everybody except for one person, it was all just realtors going around there
going in with their video cameras.
What pressure! Like my brother just did that, and I'm like, can you have somebody else come, please? Because I don't want you to like hate me if you don't like the house. Like
it's you can't see a house with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can have a real good photographer and videographer that'll help, but it's still tough.
Smell, you can't touch, you can't walk through. Like
you're not going to see little cracks or
yeah,
poor quality workmanship.
I really do my best whenever I have those videos that I'm like, I don't know. I look everything up and down and, because I don't want to be the one to miss something and be like, why didn't you show me this?
You almost want to be pessimistic about it just so that, what I mean? They notice every fault.
Yeah. So
it's not on you.
Yeah. It's different. It's not like you're walking in the house with them because they
on them,
have their senses there. Like, because that's the biggest thing for me too, is smell of a house. What did they have animals or were they smokers? Because those are big things and big turnoffs, and where people can say, I'm not going to buy this house because I'm never going to be able to get the cigarette smoke out of it. So
that's the truth.
That's the thing I tell everybody if they don't want to come, like to see it, because I've had some people where they're like, oh, just go look at it for me. I'm like, no, you're in town, you're gonna come and see the house. Like
I'm coming to pick you up.
You're not putting this on me.
Correct.
Or the sight unseen offers. I'm like, there's no need for that. We're in town, let's go look at it. Like, what if it smells bad? What if you get there and the floor is caving in or something? Like, you got to go look at it.
Correct.
Relying on you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I couldn't buy something without looking at it myself, but
no, it's a big investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you're paying cash or getting a mortgage or whatever, it's a lot of money. It's buying a home is expensive. Buying a property is expensive. So, I don't know how many times I've convinced people that we're going to schedule a showing on this place before we place an offer. And I'd say probably 6-7 times out of 10, they end up not placing an offer on it because we went and looked at it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but I'm like, aren't you glad we came here?
Right. I love that about you. It's about protecting the customer or your clients versus, just taking their money.
Yeah, everything's fine. Make an offer on it, and here you go.
It looks great online, and they always do. You don't, almost always they look better online than in person.
Nobody's putting bad pictures online. Well, some are, but not.
So I take that back, because sometimes they look worse online because the photography is bad and it's dark, and sometimes they look way better in person. It doesn't do the property justice. So I take back what I said.
It's different perspective.
Who's your photographer that you use?
Joseph Dono.
Oh, that he's the man. That's what I was hoping that you're going to say that. Yeah, he did my house, and God, he is literally the man. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I love him. He's good. He's quick. He's always asking, like, hey, what can I do to help you and make these photos or videos better? Like, what are you looking for? So he's very into taking direction or criticism, or if there's anything that he could do to help me or any of his other agents or customers. So he's very good. And he actually even reached out to me and said, hey, I'd really like to give back more. And sorry if I'm blowing your spot up, Joe, but he said he wanted to help some of the people who, if I knew anyone that lost their like Airbnb or, their vacation rental, if they needed some photos, he offered to go and get some new photos for them, for free, just to help them, because he's just a good guy,
He is. I know he's like actually training photographers now.
Yeah.
I seen him post that. Yeah. He's a really good guy, and I knew him a little bit, but once I went through the process with my house, and he even does like the 3D floor plans and the drone pictures and the sunset, pictures. I mean, it was just, I almost wanted to buy my house back.
Sold. It's sold already.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good guy.
He's good. You can tell he's very passionate about what he does, because I think he spends a lot of time when he's editing the videos, and especially if they have like a certain vibe, like waterfront, and the more high end, the more fun you can get with like the fixtures and whatever special rooms you might have, like wine rooms, or he just does a really, really good job.
Yeah, and when you see him in the zone too, he's like straight faced, and he's a professional for sure.
Oh yeah,
he's seen it.
Like the first time that I used him, like when he took pictures, I'm like, oh, you took a photo? I'm like, you did it? Like I was like worried, and then I saw him and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'm like, you know what you're doing.
He does.
All
right. Well,
we're at our time. I know that we could talk forever, but thanks for having me. I want to come back and hang out here.
Yeah, come on anytime. We'll get Lindsay in here too next time.
Yes, I'll be coming to visit.
Yep.
Well, congratulations to you, and we're really happy to see you grow and see you expand, and we hear lots of great things. So kudos to you.
I appreciate your guys' friendships.
Yeah.
I know Kayla for more than 20 years. So I don't know how
long. We just graduated high school like 3 years ago. What are you talking about?
Reunion, they're trying to have me kind of rope me into it. So we didn't do a 10-year one. So but yeah, and I've known Lindsay for a long time through the hub and through just everybody. So, I appreciate you guys coming here and speaking to me, and everything you guys do. You guys are top of the top. So thanks for always helping our community.
I appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll have you back on again. Something's in the works, I'm sure.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. We always do something.
Yeah. Yep.
Anytime.
All right. Well, everybody enjoy their day. Thank you so very much. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.